when I talk about big people, I think you see where I'm coming from. Two generals plus their boss. I don't know how to describe the boss. The boss of the general is a field marshal. And in Uganda, we've only had two to date. Some of you may question where I get the second one. And I advise you to read the history of Zanzibar. Then you realize we've had two generals from Uganda. I mean, two field marshals. Good morning once again. We gave ourselves the hour of 9 a.m. to start, which is upon us, and we are going to start. However, as we proceed, we may interrupt the proceedings when supervisor of the field marshal arrives. So be prepared to clap once again. I want to request to be joined by the pastor, CPA Florence Mutiaba.
Thank you, MC. May I request all of us to rise to our feet in honor of God. Thank you. Let us pray. Loving Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for a gift of a new day. We thank you for the gift of life. We thank you for enabling us to reach here safely and on time. And we pray for those that are still on the way, that you will quicken them. We thank you, Lord, for the very first Public Finance Management Conference that's starting today. We thank you for the brains behind putting it all together and everyone who has worked hard to make sure it happens. And loving Father, we commit to you all our presenters for this day. We pray that you give them wisdom and knowledge as they give us knowledge about strengthening the public finance management sector in order to attain a sustainable development. We also pray for our session chairs that you will enable them to keep time and moderate as well. We also pray for the participants in this place that they will be active, even those that are online, that they will be attentive. We also pray for good weather today, and we pray that you will guide the whole conference. We glorify your name and give you praise. In Jesus' mighty name we have prayed.
Afrika Mashariki, tuwezeshe kuishi kwa amani, tutimize na malengo yetu. Jumuiya yetu sote tuilinde, tuajibike, tuimarike. Umoja wetu ni nguzo yetu, idumu jumuiya yetu.
Thank you, Pastor Florence. Let me request us to remain standing for a minute as we remember the hero of what we are here about, public finance management. We lost one of the heroes of this process. May the good Lord rest the soul of Keith Makanizi in eternal peace. And the people said amen. And now we can assume our seats. But if you prefer to participate standing, it's okay. You can keep standing. No one will begrudge you except the person seated behind you. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me on behalf of the Institute to welcome you here. The CEO gave me an assignment at which I'm going to try. Among us, we have the Deputy Secretary to Treasury, Honorable Patrick Cherap. I'm talking about 2026 and 2031, so don't be surprised. We have the Accountant General, CPA Lawrence Semakula. We have the Internal Auditor General, CPA Dr. Akonye Okonye. I don't know the correct order. If I've mixed it up, I'm sorry, sir. We have our second president, CPA Daudi Opiokero. The rest of you call him David. I have a reason why I call him Daudi. We have the president, the man himself, the man of the moment, CPA Constant Mayende. We have council member Stephen Eneget. Now, if I've not recognized you, blame it on this cameraman because he has shown the light in my eyes and I can't see properly. But all of you here are dignitaries in your own right, CFOs of various MDAs, various local governments, name it. So we are blessed to have you here in this first Public Finance Management Annual Conference. And when you hear the word first, you know that several more are lined up year after year. It's a start. And you should be proud of yourself because you are here present when this fundamental baby for the well-being of the country is being birthed. So at some point you'll stand up and thump your chest because you are witnessing a great moment in our country's affairs. At this moment, one woman, one human being and a woman with whom they have 5 kids, and he decided to pay back his school getting wealth creation some public sector banks. So you are in good company. And he has roots in that valley in the US, in California, the Silicon Valley. And it reflects on his bank account, by the way. Yes, at some point, I worked in a Bank of Uganda. Daudi here can testify. At a very junior level, and when you are junior, sometimes you pick up rubbish thrown in the corridor, and you see Stephen Inegate. At that time, about 25 years ago, a man had $1 billion shillings. But before the zeros were removed, the 3 zeros. So add the 3 zeros and you see the amount he would have had now. So Stephen Inegate, please, these are your people. By the way, there is one rule of engagement in this conference. There should be no discussion about the currency of the Republic or Kingdom of Thailand. Totally no discussion about that currency. Thank you.
Thank you. Did you say Director of Ceremonies? Okay, thank you so much for kind of misleading our audience. But somehow, given that I'm an accountant, we shall see how to make accountability and make corrections. So that's a lot of work for me to do. Otherwise, good morning to you all. Very delighted to have you and to be here with you this morning. Our members online, we welcome you. And those who have not yet joined, I hope you join, because we have a great plan for you today. And we're discussing a very interesting theme, and it cuts across the next 3 days. So we'll be introducing the theme to you shortly. You must have seen in the program. It's a very interesting theme when you're talking about public finance management issues. This is what keeps the economy going. So I expect a lot of engagement from all of you. We already have our keynote speaker with us, and we're waiting for the Honorable Minister. In the next few minutes, we'll be here to officially open this conference, and then we proceed as per program. So just give us a few seconds as we wait for him. Otherwise, I just want to welcome you, feel at home. It's going to be an open engagement. It's not like one direct lecture as you take notes. So all the presenters will be giving time for you to engage, because we want to contribute to the development of our country through raising ideas, through discussing the topical issues, which surely will make all the way to the governance structures. Of course, as mentioned by Master of Ceremonies or Director of Ceremonies, the majority of us are accountants. And I was discussing with the Accountant General, with the Internal Auditor, and they were whispering to me that they very soon have so many vacancies. They need accountants who are qualified to be accountants to be the accounting officers in government, which is a very good thing. Because for a long time, accountability has been an issue. So there's a signal that our chief guest has arrived. And as he enters, I'll request all of you to arise to welcome him. So please give us a few minutes to let him in.
Yeah, playing already. Somebody I'm through with this. Maybe if I'd applied otherwise I would have got. So I was connecting.
So thank you. You know, director of ceremonies, his sense of humor is always good and excellent. He's just reminded me that he did not authorize me to keep the audience silent. So I must continue talking. Hopefully, it will provide insurance in case I mention something which can be damaging. Otherwise, recognize the arrival of one of the council members, CPA Ronald, council member, and effectively one of the hosts is the one who gets all of this put together. So in case of any mistakes, he's the one who takes care of. But any good thing that happens out of this conference, the president takes that. So our chief guest has arrived. We welcome you. Let us stand up as we welcome our chief guest, who will be officiating the opening of this conference. You're welcome, sir. Now that our chief guest is here, I request you to play the national anthem once again, such that we officially open this event.
So about your national anthem, they are going to country that
National anthem, please. Okay, I'm told we can sing. Ronald.
Mungu twaomba uilinde Jumuiya Afrika Mashariki, tuwezeshe kuishi kwa amani, tutimize na malengo yetu. Jumuiya yetu sote tuilinde, tuajibike, tuimarike. Umoja wetu ni nguzo yetu, idumu jumuiya yetu.
Thank you. You may take your seats. Once again, okay. Our honorable chief guest, we welcome you to this conference. We had already opened with a word of prayer, just to let you know, I know you're a Christian, such that you don't get scared that we are continuing without inviting God to officiate this function as well. So we've already prayed, and now we'll continue with the program as displayed in the booklets. So, dear participants online and those present in the room, we want to proceed with our program such that we redeem time. Like I mentioned, we have a lot in the menu for you and would want to go straight to that. At this moment, allow me welcome our CEO to make his remarks, and then thereafter we'll invite the president. CEO, over to you.
Thank you, CPA, Master of Ceremony or Director of Ceremonies. Our chief guest, I'll stand on the protocol that was established. So, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor to stand before you this morning as we inaugurate the Public Finance Management Conference for the first time in our country and in the history of our Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Uganda. As we gather, we recognize that public finance management plays a critical role in the development of our beloved country. So as the Institute, we are proud to convene this conference together with the help from the accountants in the Ministry of Finance led by the Accountant General to make sure that we add the voice, we add our strength in the strengthening process of public finance management in the country. So we do this knowing that when we come together as all stakeholders of the PFM in this country, we are able to share our experiences, we are able to share our knowledge, and also the challenges that we are facing, and together we can optimize our knowledge, we can optimize our resources in finding the right solutions to strengthen public financial management in the country. I want always to remind ourselves that when we are in the private sector, we say a good company is based on good finance team, but it also works true for countries. That countries to run well, they need a good public finance management system and framework, and that cannot be done without the foot soldiers. And the foot soldiers are usually the professional accountants within the structures of government. So as we gather today for Public Finance Management Conference, it's our role as professional accountants serving in public sector to ensure that we maintain the integrity and determination to deliver results as we carry on that mantle that's before us. We are the ones tasked to carry out the enforcing policies, procedures, and regulations, even to those who supervise us. We are designed and trained to be able to do the best for our country, remembering that all accountants serve in the public interest. And PFM is exactly about that, giving value to the society and making sure that we can leave resources for the future generation. As we go through the day, I urge you to make most of the conference. Let's discuss, share experiences, and challenge ourselves on what works, what doesn't work, and what we can change as we develop our country, Uganda. Together, we are able to do what is possible sustainably for the future generations of our country. Finally, I encourage you as professional accountants to use this also as professional, continuing professional development. Where you have been lacking in PFM, let's learn. Let's unlearn those that are no longer working, and we retool ourselves for the task of public finance management. I cannot go off without thanking our sponsors. Without you, we wouldn't be here. We thank the Ministry of Finance, and thank you so much. We thank Civil Aviation and National Agricultural Advisory Services for supporting us, plus others, for supporting us to hold the first public finance management conference in our country. I wish you the best as you go out with the day, and ensure that we learn and deliberate for the good of our country. The MC tasked me also to invite the President. So it's my honor to invite our President, the 9th President of the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Uganda, CPA Constant Othieno Mayende, to come and address us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, CEO. So our chief guest this morning, Honorable CPA Henry Musasizi, Minister of State for Finance, Planning and Economic Development, in charge of general duties. Our keynote speaker, Mr. Patrick Ochailap, the Deputy Secretary at the Treasury at the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development. The second President of the Institute, CPA David Opio Kello, who actually signed my membership certificate somewhere in March 2003. I recognize you. My colleagues, the council members, the session chair for this morning, CPA Stephen Inegate, the chair, member services, CPA Ronald Mutumba. Please, can you just wave so that members see you? He's actually in charge of ensuring such events take place. The Accountant General of the Republic of Uganda, the Internal Auditor General of the Republic of Uganda, members of committees of council of the Institute, the CEO of the Institute, conference speakers, CPAs, and the participants of the first PFM annual conference present here and online, our partners, the media. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome to the first Public Finance Management Conference organized by the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Uganda and supported by the Ministry of Finance, through the Accountant General's Office. Honorable Minister, ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted to report to you at this inaugural PFM conference that we have over 700 participants attending both online and in person. No event of the Institute has attracted such a large number at inception. No event that we've held here, and indeed anywhere else, has attracted this level of attention. This therefore affirms the relevance of the subject matter. We are talking about public finance management. It shows that Ugandans have a keen interest in the subject, which is a crucial aspect of public sector transformation for development. I therefore thank you, CPAs, ladies and gentlemen, for responding positively to our call. Honorable Minister, before I proceed, and as we discuss public finance matters, permit me to lead you through a moment in honor of the life of one of the key figures in Uganda's public finance management space. On 13th April 2023, sad news reached us of the passing of Mr. Keith Muhakanizi, who at the time of his demise was the permanent secretary in the office of the Prime Minister. Mr. Muhakanizi served the government in various capacities, previously as the permanent secretary and secretary to the Treasury in the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development. He was a key resource on public financial management matters and responded positively to ISPAO invitations. Indeed, his demise is a setback for the nation. Honorable Minister, ladies and gentlemen, may we rise up to our feet and observe a moment of silence in honor of Mr. Muhakanizi's service to our country. May his soul rest in peace. Public finance management is the backbone of national development. The world's fastest growing economies have placed PFM at the forefront with substantial investments in education, health, and information communications technology infrastructure to improve the management of information, foster integration of systems, enhance transparency, and eliminate fraud. We see, therefore, that PFM reforms take center stage the world over. Honorable Minister, as ICPAU, where you were a proud member, would like to commend the government of Uganda for the efforts in the PFM space. Government accounting officers have attested to improved revenue management, faster payment processing, and improvement in controls, among other benefits of the integrated financial management system, commonly referred to as IFMS. Efficiency resulting from automation has contributed to faster service delivery to the citizens of Uganda. We also note that Uganda's local government IFMIS project is a successful model that can be replicated to the other regions in our continent. I think this deserves a round of applause. We also commend the government of Uganda for their efforts towards professionalizing the cadre of accounting staff. Through the Accountant General's Office and the Internal Auditor General's Office, tremendous efforts have been put in place to ensure that all finance and accounting staff, and indeed internal audit, in the public service as certified public accountants. Staff are being sponsored to study the CPA course, and government continues to support their affiliation with ICPAU through paying annual membership subscription fees. We also note that the Ministry of Public Service has embarked on a process of ensuring that every public servant belongs to a profession. Professionalism is implemented by our human resources, and therefore the process must begin with the professional education of staff. Therefore, Honorable Minister and the entire team in the Ministry of Finance, we thank you so much for these efforts. While acknowledging the government's efforts, we are also aware of the encumbrances to the implementation of PFM reforms. In 2021, ISPAU conducted a survey to assess the impact of PFM reforms in Uganda. Although over 2/3 of the respondents noted that the PFM reform programs had a significant impact and were successful in generating improvements in the key aspects of public financial management, it was also noted that political interference, financial constraints, inadequate ICT infrastructure, and non-aligned policies were revealed as persistent hindrances. We therefore recommend that budget allocations are enhanced to improve the infrastructure that drive the three earlier mentioned drivers of PFM, that is education, health, and ICT. The government should continue to support public servants to build capacity through trainings, not only in finance and accounting areas, but also in ICT, so that public servants are able to apply the new technologies. It's a good thing that we are witnessing the increasing effectiveness of Parliament's oversight role, and at this conference we look forward to hearing from the members of Parliament, the ones who sit on accountability committees, regarding how this function can be better supported. Financial reporting plays a major role in public financial management. In 2006, ICPAU adopted the International Public Sector Accounting Standards. Whereas observations through the Financial Reporting Awards reveals low levels of ISPAS or IPSAS adoption in Uganda, some work has been done. We continue to encourage adoption through recognizing public sector organizations which comply with the standards. We also call upon the government through the Ministry of Finance to adopt accrual IPSAS accounting for better financial planning and utilization reporting. To support the government efforts in implementing the PFM roadmap and IPSAS accrual rollout, the Institute established a public sector accountancy working group comprising the Institute, the Accountant General's Office, the Auditor General's Office, the Internal Auditor General's Office, and the Local Government Finance Commission. Honorable Minister, we continue to pledge our support to the government of Uganda towards the effective establishment of PFM reforms in the country. And this is really in line with our function as ICPAU of advising government on matters of financial accountability and management as enshrined in Section 12 of the Accountants Act 2013. The goal of this PFM conference is to bring together public sector actors to share experiences and recommend innovative solutions for improved management of public resources. The theme, which is strengthening the public finance management for sustainable development, is fitting. Therefore, I encourage you all, colleagues online and those who are here, to participate actively. Amongst us, we have legislators, policymakers, senior government officials, and of course, our guest of honor, the Honorable Minister. Therefore, this is an ideal platform for policy recommendations. I wish to conclude my remarks by thanking those whose efforts have made it possible for us to hold successful events like this one. I thank my colleague, CPA Ronald, the Chair of Member Services, and indeed your team in the Events Management Committee, chaired by CPA David Serebe. We also acknowledge the efforts of the team at the Secretariat, who really carry a very big load in organizing such events. And most importantly, you, the participants, both online and here physically in Entebbe. You always respond positively to our invitations, and we thank you for being passionate about ICPU activities. The partners of this PFM annual conference, we are grateful. The CEO has already mentioned them. You've supported us to meet the cost of this conference, and because of you, we are able to offer value to our participants. And now, I need to perform the final but very important duty of this session, ladies and gentlemen. And this, if everything goes well, is also my last public event as your president. I would like to really thank you so much for all your support, because come end of June, the 10th president of the institute should come up. The 2 years have run very fast, but unfortunately I'm tongue-tied. I cannot offer myself again. So what an opportunity to say bye-bye to the members of the institute. So, ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming the chief guest of the first PFM annual conference, our own Honorable CPA Henry Musasizi, the Minister of State for Finance, General Duties at the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development. Honorable Minister, it's always an honor to have you in our midst. And we are grateful for your positive responses all the time when we reach out. You are welcome to address us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. President, and my friend, Constantine Mayende. The honorable members of Parliament in the audience, the Deputy Secretary to the Treasury, Mr. Patrick Ochailap, I had recognized the President of the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Uganda, the permanent secretaries who are here with us. I want to also recognize the Accountant General, Mr. Lawrence Semakura. I also want to recognize the Internal Auditor General, Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, Dr. Fickson Okonye. I want to recognize the members of the ICPAU Council, and I also recognize the past presidents and past council members, the top executives who are here, development partners, the sponsors, professional accountants, members of the academia, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning to you all. I want to take this honor and privilege to welcome you to this first Public Finance Management Conference. Please allow me to extend my appreciation to the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Uganda for organizing this conference, which has brought together public financial management practitioners, professional accountants, civil society, and other stakeholders in the government of Uganda to share knowledge and ideas on strengthening public finance management for sustainable development. Public finance management ensures that public resources are allocated to agreed upon strategic priorities and properly accounted for in a timely manner. It therefore ensures allocation and operational efficiency in the use of public resources, thus achieving the optimum value for money in the delivery of services. The Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Uganda, as a corporate body that regulates the conduct of accountants in Uganda, has correctly recognized the role of accountants in public finance management. Government of Uganda as a whole employs over 1,300 accountants in public service. The government benefits from the professional accountants that the Institute releases, which has contributed to the improving the quality of financial reporting in government. In the Auditor General's report for the year ended 30th June 2021, all central government ministries obtained unqualified audit opinions, while only 6 local governments obtained qualified audit opinions. There were no adverse or disclaimer audit opinions. I thought the MDs who were here would appreciate this achievement. Thank you. As a ministry, we take the Institute as our own and work closely on strengthening the accountancy profession and matters of national economy. The ministry has supported the Institute, like Derek and the President were saying. The ministry has supported the Institute right from its inception on a number of fronts, which include providing the startup capital for its establishment, putting in place an enabling legal regime, sponsoring over 100 staff annually for professional certification, and working in partnership during events such as this conference. I would like also to thank the Institute for constituting the Public Sector Accountants Working Group, a platform that brings together the Accountant General, the Internal Auditor General, Commission Secretary, Local Government Finance Commission, and the Institute. The Public Sector Accountants Working Group discusses public sector reforms which continue to be an integral part of the government's effort to improve public finance management, making it more citizen-centric and responsive to stakeholder concerns. The government of Uganda has undertaken wide-ranging public financial management reforms to ensure the efficiency, effectiveness, and accountable use of public resources. Strong public financial management systems promote transparency, accountability, and good governance, which are essential for effective service delivery and sustainable economic development. The automation of PFM systems has enabled the government to prepare more accurate and timely financial information, which directly contributes to improvements in accountability, transparency, and combating corruption. The United Nations e-government index indicates that there is a negative correlation between automation of government processes and corruption. Therefore, automation of well-functioning PFM systems can lead to tangible results, and the government of Uganda is committed to digitizing its systems. It is clear that public finance management touches every sector of the economy and contributes to the country's economic development. PFM in Uganda has come a long way, and as a discipline, the legal frameworks have been established. However, progress takes time, and it is important to now work more deliberately on the systems and human resources to ensure that PFM enables better public sector results. The Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development fully supports the Institute in the enforcement of Accountants Act 2013, and imposters should not have any space to distort the gains so far achieved. The economy, Derek thinks this is a point to emphasize. The point on not allowing room for imposters. As the law clearly stipulates, and I want to thank the Institute for all the efforts they have made to weed out imposters from the market, especially the private sector, especially the auditors. The economy has remained resilient and is now recovering steadily from the impact of COVID-19 pandemic. In the first quarter of this financial year, the economy expanded by 7.5% and is projected to grow at 5.3% this financial year, 2022-2023, and 6% in the financial year 2023-2024. Uganda's annual inflation eased to 9% in March 2023, down from a peak of 10.7% in October 2022. Plans are underway to widen Uganda's tax base through efficiency gains in tax administration and bringing on board more of the informal sector in the money economy. This is being achieved by government intervention such as Emyoga, youth livelihood and women entrepreneurship programs, and a parish development model. Before I conclude, let me take this opportunity to appreciate the Institute of Certified Public Accountants for involving me in your activities always. I was asking Constantine how I can find my way in the council, and he told me I should be comfortable as the MP for Rwanda East and leave the council for those who don't want to go to the field to ask for votes. I told him that's okay as long as I am involved in the activities the council and the institute does. That's why I appreciate you for always giving me an opportunity to associate with the Institute. Number two, this is the first public finance management engagement, and I'm glad the Ministry of Finance, which is at the forefront of spearheading public finance reforms, is here in full capacity. Myself, from the political side, and the Deputy Secretary to the Treasury, from the technical side, with all our powerful people here, all the generals from finance are here. The Accountant General and the Internal Auditor General, they are all here. Is the External Auditor General here? Or his representative? I am told the representative is coming. Thank you so much for giving this first PFM conference the weight it deserves. I want to thank Derek and his team for implementing the Accountants Act. All these are efforts that are geared towards implementation of the Accountants Act, which we enacted in 2013. I'm glad my effort is yielding. That time I was a young MP. This is the bill where I put it was my first test in enacting laws, and it gave me the best experience. In conclusion, I propose that the Public Finance Management Conference becomes an annual event on the Institute's calendar to provide a platform of dialogue for the public finance management practitioners, professional accounting institutions, civil society organizations, academia, and other stakeholders. With these few words, I declare the first Public Finance Management Conference officially open, and I wish you a fruitful deliberations for God and my country.
Thank you. Can we put our hands together and just appreciate our very own CPA, Honorable Henry Musazizi. Of course, he's just reminded me that his eloquence, his leadership skills, he gained them all from a great school called Kiges College Butobere. And I was his senior there, but now he's my honorable minister. So yes, I see another, there are quite a number of Bosnia here. Bosnia, are you around? Yeah, we are quite a number. That even Leo. Yeah, we're also in the press. So please make sure that whenever a Muslims is speaking, you cover properly. Especially those who are MPs, because we want them to continue representing us. So thank you, Honorable Minister, and thank you so much for always being available. And since the President guaranteed you that there will always be a slot for you to participate in the events of the Institute, and thank you for accepting and being available. We really appreciate you. Now, normally when the chief guest has spoken, we don't have questions. Everything you take, record, retain, okay? But you will translate those questions later on when our keynote speaker has given his message. And like the Honorable Minister mentioned, we have the Accountant General, Intern Auditor General. I know Deputy Auditor General is coming, Edward Akol himself. And of course, our keynote speaker, whom I'm just going to introduce now. Time has gone. Is planned to speak for 1 hour. Bear with us. We'll see how much to redeem. Patrick is a senior citizen. Patrick Ochailap. Ochailap in Teso means a shining moon. Shining. And I can guarantee you that the shine that comes with this name has been there with the PFM. From the start, it's been key in making sure that public finances are well managed. He's certainly the Deputy Secretary to the Treasury. That's where the money is kept in the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development. He is key and he loves attending governance meetings and is a key believer in corporate governance. No wonder he's a representative of Ministry of Finance in various boards. For example, in the National Social Security Trustees Board, the National Airlines Company, you call it Uganda Airlines. Thank you for reviving the airline. Gives us the pride, the pearl of Africa. We can now fly here, so thank you so much for your work. National Housing and Construction Corporation, just a few of those where he's a key member. Of course, he's risen through the ranks within the ministry up to where he is now. I will not go into those details. They're on page 7. Of course, he holds a master's degree in development economics, and he is very, very key in the Ministry of Finance. He's worked with the late very, very well. And allow me now invite him to make his keynote address. Patrick, my senior brother, I hand over to you to address the audience. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. I'm slightly shorter than all those who have spoken before me. The Honorable Minister of State, Finance, Planning and Economic Development, Honorable Members present of Parliament here, President of the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Uganda, the Permanent Secretary is here present, the Accountant General of the Republic of Uganda, the Internal Auditor General of the Republic of Uganda, the Chief Executive Officers here present, the Executive Directors, the Development Partners, professional accountants, members of the academia here present, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, good morning to you all. It is a great honor for me to be here today to present a keynote address on strengthening public finance management for sustainable development. I do thank the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Uganda for organizing the first Public Finance Management Conference. This conference creates a forum for dialogue among stakeholders on public finance management in this country. Public finance management is a way governments manage public resources, definitely, including collecting revenue and controlling expenditure, accounting for both revenue and expenditure each year, and also reporting to the various accountable institutions on the performance of revenue and expenditure each year. Therefore, the PFM impacts on the economy and society as a whole. Globally, governments are facing unprecedented physical and monetary pressures, putting enormous demands on public financial management systems and heightening the need for better management of public funds. PFM is fundamental to the achievement of development results through 1, effective resource allocation and use for delivery of equitable and quality services. Number 2, prioritize and better manage infrastructure investments and assets and to stimulate growth in the economy. 3, sound financial controls, accounting, reporting, and transparency can deliver efficiency gains through better fiscal discipline, accountability, and decision-making. And 4, prudent fiscal discipline and debt sustainability to foster private sector investments and economic growth. Evidence shows that sound PFM makes a real difference to citizens, businesses, and the economy. How good a government is at PFM was really first tested during the COVID-19 pandemic. And I was whispering to the CPA on my left that the pandemic, for most people, seemed to have passed without being noticed in this country. But worldwide, it's perhaps the greatest pandemic we have had since World War II, because all world economies, Uganda inclusive, were locked for 2 years. Come to think about it. And I think the PFM systems were put to test to the limit at that point in time. I thank those who participated in thinking through the PFM system to weather through that difficult pandemic, which was really a real test of the nerve of PFM systems and economic management in this country. Uganda's economy remained resilient, albeit the knocks, because it is grounded on good PFM systems. Government views this as an opportunity for us to reset our minds, therefore, that the country's economy on the pathway to recover and foster green, resilient, and inclusive development, while also at the same time tackling poverty and equitable growth in a sustained manner. What are the PFM reform drivers in this economy? The public finance management reform in Uganda has come a long way, from overhauling the legal frameworks governing public finance management to institutional arrangements and underlying systems that are necessary to drive the PFM system. The reforms have been driven by the following 13 points or anchors. Number 1, independent assessment, such as the public expenditure and financial accountability assessments, the PIFA assessments of 2005, 2008, 2012, 2016, and 2022, which is now in a draft form. I think we have finished consultations on this, and I thank your various professions who gave inputs to this assessment, and this assessment results will soon show how far we have gone in successfully implementing this. Number 2, reports by the oversight institutions such as Auditor General, Internal Audit, Public Procurement and Disposal of Public Assets Authority, Inspectorate of Government, Accountant General's Office, and other independent reviews. 3, alignment with the PFM best practices and emerging professional standards. 4, changes in government policy, such as program-based approach to planning, budgeting and reporting, decentralization of the salary and pension payments, and also things linked to other decentralization arrangements in the public finance management arrangements. 5, bilateral and multilateral undertakings with development partners, such as the IMF and the World Bank and other financial institutions. 6, external agreements and undertakings with international and regional collaborators, such as arrangements within East African Community, the Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa, and now the Continental Free Trade Area arrangements. 7, changes in legal framework and business environment, because legal frameworks are a living document and a testimony that respond to the socio-economic transformation needs of any country and they cannot be static, therefore, as we go ahead with implementing quite a number of these programs, and as economies transform in the ever-changing global environment. 8, pressure for increased accountability and service delivery from Parliament, which is a good thing for us, and civil society organizations and the citizens. Over the years, however, Government of Uganda has implemented wide-ranging PFM reforms aimed at the following: maintaining a robust and stable macroeconomic environment. 2, enabling efficient resource mobilization and management. 3, strengthening resource allocative and operational efficiency. 4, facilitating transparent and accountable use of public resources. And 5, improving internal and external oversight environment. What has our journey been with respect to PFM reforms? I'll touch on that very briefly before I go to the review of outdated laws as we went in the quest for reforming the PFM systems. The ongoing reforms have been guided by the PFM reform strategy, which is aligned with the national priorities as articulated in the National Development Plan. Of course, over the years, it was aligned to, first of all, the PIP at that particular time, then NDP 1, now NDP 2, which has been midterm reviewed, and also saw quite a number of things that require that the PFM reforms must respond to the need for alignment in that direction. And now we are going to gear ourselves to prepare for NDP 3, and each stage certainly has got a number of things that inform the need for the reforms in the PFM system. It cannot be static. The PFM transformation reforms, therefore, have been undertaken in the following areas. 1, review of outdated PFM legal and regulatory frameworks. You know very well the PFM Act 2015 as amended is a major anchor in this area. The human resource reforms that have taken place over the years. Automation of the PFM systems, which is a continuous process. And development of a standard uniform chart of accounts and financial reporting requirements. And I think there'll be a major one also as we go towards the rationalization of government agencies, departments, and institutions. That will bring another dynamic issue into the alignment of the various functions that otherwise had been set aside as standalone institutions that are going to be put back to the parent institutions and the attendant movements that are going to take place with respect to both human, financial, and other resources to those areas. What did we do with respect to review of outdated PFM legal and regulatory frameworks? Briefly, there are about 9 items here. 1, certainly the 1995 Constitution of the Republic of Uganda as amended gave us the overarching mother law on the PFM, need for PFM reforms. 2, the Public Finance Management Act 2015 as amended. 3, the Public Finance Management Regulations 2016. 4, the Treasury Instructions 2017. 5, Local Government Act of 1995 as amended and attendant regulations therefrom. 6, the Public Procurement and Disposal of Public Assets Amendment Act 2021 and accompanying regulations. 7, the National Audit Act of 2008. 8, the Accountants Act 2013. And 9, the Public-Private Partnerships 2015. On the front of human resources reform, that also informed the transformation agenda for the PFM in this country. The human resources are often referred to as the most important tools in an organization. I have no doubt about that. PFM reforms cannot be complete without reforms in this area. The following reforms were undertaken, and they are about 7. 1, professional certification of accounting, audit, IT, and procurement cadres. And on the way, is my own profession, the economist cadre. I'm taking the lead in designing or determining the principles for the professionalization of economist cadre in this economy, and I hope, within a little time that I'm left with in the service, I'll have at least done something there as well. 2, restructuring the offices of Accountant General, Internal Auditor General, and Auditor General to strengthen their capacities to execute their core mandates and support PFM reforms. 3, revise schemes of service to align career development and clear and consistent job descriptions to bring about the motivation factor in delivery of the services. 4, in-house training facility for PFM training to facilitate implementation of the PFM reforms. 5, the RISE continuous training and professional development. The Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Uganda, ISPAU, Association of Chartered Certified Accountants, ACCA, Institute of Procurement Professionals of Uganda, IPPU, Institute of Internal Auditors, IIA, Information Technology, IT, and other relevant institutions are all in place, and I think the opportunities are quite numerous with respect to capacity building in that area. 6, there were benchmarking studies and secondments, and these are continuous. 7, there are regional engagements to promote best practices in PFM, such as within the East African Community, Eastern and Southern African Association of Accountant Generals, and so on and so forth. The 3rd pillar of the PFM reform, besides the first 2 that I've talked about, is the area of automation of the PFM systems. Governments are leveraging automation of its PFM systems to ensure the availability of accurate, reliable, timely, traceable, and actually real-time information sharing and dissemination. In this, we have the following key pillars that have been undertaken. Integrated financial management systems, I think the President talked about this, as well as the Minister of Finance. IFMS is a government flagship PFM system and has been deployed in all 300 central government and local government entities for execution of budget, record, tracking transactions, and financial reporting. There is significant improvement in the availability of timely, reliable information in a transparent and accountable manner of the public funds. 2, human capital development system. This system replaces the IPPS for managing and processing staff salaries and pensions. Over time, some weaknesses on IPPS were identified. HCM has more robust features and controls the further improvement of payroll management. HCM also integrates all human resource models and processes employee records management from entry to exit from the service. It has so far been rolled out in 64 ministries, agencies, and local governments, and will progressively be rolled out to all ministries, agencies, and local governments. Of course, that goes ahead with attendant need for capacity building in order to deal with the system. I also had to undergo capacity building because I have to appraise the staff I supervise who are from commissioner to certain levels in the system, in the Ministry of Finance. So if I can't now appraise your performance, and I'm supposed to do so every July, then what business do I have to be there if I can't use a system for improved assessment of personnel? So it's a very important system in terms of human resource management. Third is the program budgeting system, the PBS. This is a web-based tool for budget preparation, monitoring, and reporting. It has been implemented in ministries, agencies, and local governments to support program-based budgeting. It has improved credibility of the budget process through enhanced links between the budget and national planning policy objectives enshrined in the National Development Plan 3. 4, the Treasury single account. The TSA has improved the management of cash resources across government by holding all resources in one single account. The benefits include complete and timely information on government cash balances, real time. 2, efficient cash management, regular monitoring of cash balances, and also management of the cash itself. 3, lower liquidity reserve needs by reducing the volatility of cash flows in the economy. 4, improved bank reconciliation between the Treasury and our banker, the central bank, and the quality of fiscal data by facilitating effective reconciliation of the account of government in real time. We have also done number 5, the electronic government procurement, the EGP, in the area of this reform web. The electronic government procurement system automates the entire procurement cycle of public procurement. Its implementation in entities is to improve efficiency, transparency, compliance, and value for money. This has been rolled out to 36, there are still very few, ministries, agencies, and local governments, and stakeholder engagements are ongoing to hasten the system uptake. Again, there is need for serious capacity building and also hands-on on systems use. 6 rather, there is academic information system, ACIMS. The academic information system manages public university student tuition fees and academic records. It has been rolled out to all the 12 universities, public universities, to improve transparency and accountability in collection and use of public funds, with the exception of only one new public university. I think Accountant General did not tell me which one this one is, so that we can put it on the radar so that we can rush there quickly. Is it Mountains of the Moon? I don't know. But I think we should zero in on that one, and then we move in so that next financial year, this too comes on board. 7, we have also opened the eCash platform for activity advances. The eCash platform is to support cash transactions by all central and local government entities. It ensures that cash transactions are authorized, documented, identifiable to specific activities undertaken by entities, and properly accounted for. Again, real time. Number 8, supplier e-registration. This facilitates government suppliers and employees to register and validate their bank accounts, bank account identification information for uploading to IFMS for payment processing. 9, there is a debt management and financial management system, DAMFAS. This is for managing transactions relating to government debt portfolio and interest payment. It provides a more accurate and timely information on debt management. And we now publish these debt management records every quarter, and also publish certainly the consolidated annual debt position. And when we tell you the number for debt, certainly it's derived from the real-time data from the system, and I think it is clinically accurate. Number 10 is the aid management platform, which provides information on the management of development assistance across the budget. Number 11 is the budget website. Certainly, we offload most of this information from Ministry of Finance on the government budget, and the website is available for improved access and transparency on information about the budget, the reports about the operations of the entire government in terms of the physical and financial performance by its stakeholders and general public. Even the researchers can now access our resource center for all this, or before coming to the resource center, you can access it from your own convenience and be able to get information for your analysis and also research. What are the benefits of automating, and I'm about to shut up, PFM processes in our country? Government has leveraged on automation as a vehicle for PFM reforms. The benefits that accrue from this myriad of activities are the following. 1, there is reduced face-to-face interaction between staff and the public, individuals, businesses, and other non-state actors. This reduces ability for rent-seeking in economics, and also for persons to interfere with regulated and standardized processes. Number two, it ensures effective mobilization of domestic resources and instills fiscal discipline and enables policymakers to create fiscal space needed to invest in national priorities, including those related to the SDGs. So these dimensions which are determined by international institutions, such as the UN parameters. Number three, it leads to improved timelines, quality and comprehensiveness of financial reports. The PEFA score of 2016 rated us as A. A, the real A, not the, not the small one, the big one, A. We're in grade A with respect to PFM systems, PFM reforms, PFM transparency, PFM real-time generation of data, reporting, and for policy decision-making. So we're a class apart of very many people in developing countries with respect to these PFM reforms. Four, the real-time availability of accurate information for planning and decision-making. As I mentioned, there is instant online access to information and reports. Don't have to second-guess what you're going to report on. Five, there is efficient and timely transaction processing, leading to improved service delivery. The number of days to process a payment reduced from 26 days so many years ago to a maximum of 3 days because of the maybe transaction between banks and reconciliation between banks. That may take those few hours, 3 days. Six, there's improved predictability and controls in budget execution. There's better community control. I can now relax and be able to ask Accountant General as well as the Director Budget to tell me what's available on one item in the ministry. And a split second, I'll be able to advise my superiors about the statement to make in Parliament. And I don't have any fear of contradiction whatsoever because I know the information is accurate. The rise in built system, security rules and controls leading to improved internal controls, transparency, and oversight. Ability by government to pay salaries by 28th of every month is now a reality, provided the data is ready. You can be sure that your salary hits the account on the 28th day of every month. 8, availability of permanent audit trail for all suppliers and employers of the payments that we incur under every vote. This has enabled the retrieval of information for use by all investigative institutions of government. We take very short time now to supply information to any agency investigating anything about public finances in government. Also, these reforms is a platform for implementing other reforms, TSA and cash management, decentralization of salaries, and so on and so forth, has enabled us to move faster on those areas in order to improve service delivery in a faster manner. That notwithstanding, however, I want to end with a few emerging issues and challenges as food for thought or areas for improvement as we celebrate the big success above. Implementing the PFM reforms is a complex undertaking that entails technical, procedural, institutional, and behavioral adjustments. Success requires meticulous planning, consultations, sensitization, commitment, and support from all stakeholders. The following are some of the few challenges which will form now our next steps to thinking. 1, poor attitude to change. Unfortunately, not everybody is zealous to move at the same pace, and inadequate compliance with procedures and guidelines. This is still inherent, and I think in the law of physics, the law of motion, there is inertia of motion for some people to move to the next steps of reforms because of they are feeling comfortable in where they are. There's a tendency to stay static when motion is going on. But of course, we shall be able to come to you when need arises to do the pinching, you'll do the jumping, and move with the reforms. There are also some tendencies for mischarges of expenditure due to simple aspects of indiscipline, fiscal indiscipline. And good enough, when the mischarge takes place, it's identified by internal auditor general and his staff. It's also identified in the annual audits, and they point to the need for us to zero down on the areas of mischarges, and that makes our work easy. 3, sometimes inaccurate information is fed into the PFM system. But I think because of the multiplicity of the checks and balances in the system and the system's trail, also this one can be identified, and then issues can be fixed at that point in time. Failure to meet reporting deadlines because of a delayed action by some areas is also another issue that we are seeing. Sluggishness. People are just merely lackadaisical. You are told by 15th of every month you should be able to reconcile 1, 2, 3, your tax returns and so on and so forth in the system. But just generally slow, you fail to meet the deadlines. That's not an issue of a system, it's an issue of behavioral change that's necessary. 5, challenges in full utilization of systems functionality beyond the payment processes. 6, information management systems for government assets is now being built. I heard, I think one of the speakers mentioned the need for moving towards the accrual system, and I know our Accountant General has always been talking about this. So we need to see the system of assessment and register of all these assets, and also information management system for all assets of government. That needs to come on board quite quickly. It may be one of the areas of faster, hastened action. And finally, some stakeholders do not use information that is ordinarily available, such as on the website of Ministry of Finance and the budget website. Of course, you don't get annoyed, but you find somebody asking a question, and then you say, have you seen this document of the public debt publication on our website? And also, we appeared on TV for about 3 hours, and it was, we were talking about debt and the debt position. But someone said, no, but I read another report, which is saying that the debt position is now 53%. I say, but. So it's our continuous attitude towards the use of this information for our analysis, so that we help each other in terms of answering some of the questions. The reforms, certainly, notwithstanding those challenges, have significantly improved the performance of PFM systems in Uganda, as evidenced by various diagnostic studies. The PFM reforms are not an end in themselves. The effective use of these reforms to improve efficiency, value for money, accountability, transparency, and ultimately service delivery are the most critical. I therefore conclude that government and all stakeholders at this conference should continuously think of ways of addressing the persistent PFM issues, the few of which I mentioned, such as value for money, underperformance of the domestic revenue mobilization, the flouting of PFM regulations, among others, so as to achieve the potentially maximum sustainable economic development backed up by robust PFM reform systems and managed by diligently decent men and women of integrity. This dialogue, certainly, and conversation should continue. Thank you for listening to me, for God and my country.